Welcome. I'm Graydon. This has been BINBUSTER, where I buy, watch, review a bunch of movies for you. Today's movie is that 1980s cult classic about aliens that transform themselves into clowns to terrorize an unsuspecting small town. That's right. I'm looking at the cult classic that is Killer Klowns from Outer Space. And as always, I'm going to give you my good, my bad, my overall thoughts and ratings of this cult classic. First of all, I want to say this theme's catchy. Killer Klowns from outer space. Killer Klowns from outer space. Killer Klowns from outer space. They sing it a lot better than I do. So if you're still watching this video, way to go, guys. But yeah, the theme song's so catchy. It sets the mood for this movie, and that's why I like that theme song. The good, this is also part of my bad, but this good is the rubber suits of these clowns. They could have just done makeup, but I don't think they would have been as scary unless they were these really gigantic heads, rubberized heads for these clowns. That's what was terrifying the most. And it nailed it perfectly with these rubber suits. I'm a fan of practical effects, as you heard in my House Shark video, which will be right up here. I like the practical effects thing. It gives something to these movies, something that CGI can't do. And you're talking, this is late 80s, and the CGI was like that at best. So, yeah. So the artwork worked into the scenes is great. What I mean by that is when they're looking at this reactor in the movie, in the spaceship, you see the two actors on this platform, and the platform is actually a real piece that they made, but everything around it is an artwork. So they kind of did this big gigantic art scene and superimposed that in there so it looks smaller. That works. Also, think about the 1966 Batman for a prime example of this, where the artwork was done in the background. You had set pieces here and there that did it. When they first go into the cotton candy room, that's what I'm call it, the cotton candy room. I wish they had a picture on the back, but they don't. The cotton candy room. When they do that, you see that cotton candy, it's painted on in the backgrounds. But as they get into the pieces, they're just sitting there, not to be interacted with. There's the set pieces and then there's the interactive pieces. Here, the interactive pieces are the ones that they rip off and realize, oh, it's Joe's face or Mac's face, and they do see that, and oh, that's what they're doing. And the one that comes in, hangs it up, and then does some levers. That's the interactive pieces. So they do that, a couple set pieces that don't move, and then the art works perfectly in here, and it makes it even zanier with everything else. Like when they do this entire gimmick with clowns. You have a ray gun that transforms people into cotton candy and traps them in balloons. You have popcorn guns that give them popcorns that make little piranha plants that come out like that. Yeah. They also have their entire spaceship or their circus tent is actually more like a fun house, where they have it that way, where it's door after door after door, and those like little slanted doors, and they start moving. Yeah, they have those doors that lead to places. Yeah, colorful arrangements, dizzy scenes in there. I enjoyed this. They even had they made a balloon animal that acted like a real dog. It's just the little details of things like that that make this movie great in that aspect. At a runtime of an hour and 30 minutes, so 90 minutes for this movie, it doesn't feel rushed. You get to learn about our heroes, our villains, the plot, and you get your outcome, and it doesn't feel rushed. You get Act 1, the major story arc, in Act 2, and then Act 3 is the resolution. So you get this build-up, like you do in any good movie. And it's all there, waiting for you, and it doesn't feel rushed at all, and I enjoy that. Now, they used to tell great stories in 90 minutes. You don't need 2-3 hour movies to tell great stories. That's a hot take. Take that to the bank. And I love this fact that with these clowns, you destroy their nose, you destroy the aliens. We saw that twice in this movie, and once was at the end of the movie. I'm not going to tell you more of that, just so you guys can watch it. My bad. The rubber suits, like I said, they were probably hot and sticky and smelly in here. You don't believe me? Ask Michael Keaton, George Clooney, and Val Kilmer. They all stated that the Batman suits were hot and sweaty, especially when they had the opening for their mouth. These had no openings, and these were gigantic heads like you would see on The Masked Singer. So you're talking full rubber, latex rubber, to mention that, and it's all over their bodies, and it's so hot, probably smelled horrible. Kudos to those actors and actresses in those costumes. You guys were amazing. But these clown faces, like, look here. See that one? This is the stuff nightmares are made from. If you weren't afraid of clowns and you saw this as a kid, you would be. You seriously would be. I know adults who are afraid of clowns who still won't watch this movie because of the clowns. Because they're too scary looking. And I gotta say something. This is a small town. I understand small town life. I went to a school that was in a small town. So I understand people with a false sense of security. But why don't people check out their little peepholes or check out the windows and see these horrifying looking clowns standing out there with candy and pizza boxes? Why? Safety first, people. Safety first. Open up that door and be like, no, I'm not interested. Sorry. Shut it. You could have spared your life. But no, you ended up becoming cotton candy or trapped in a balloon. That's all you did. Oh, and another bet. I would like to see what they did with these people in the balloons. It seemed like they only get the women in balloons, the men in the cotton candy, or at least they showed you that way. For that, I would like to see what the balloons did, because we know the cotton candies were dead. I wonder what the balloons were. They could have expounded a bit more on that. These clowns are creepy, and you see this clown walking down the street, you don't think anything of that's a creepy clown. What's he doing here? At least the kids in Deary knew what a creepy clown looked like. Okay, so overall, my thoughts and ratings on this movie. How the humans defeat these clowns is crazy. How they defeat them. They go into their thing and they defeat him by busting the nose of this big Mama Jamma. The boss fight monster in video games, if you want to call it that. And they do it by the sheriff taking off his badge, popping him on the nose. He blows up. The ship blows up. And then our heroes are standing there watching as all these sparklers and fireworks are going out there like, oh, we won. And all of a sudden, pies fall on their face. It's very Stooge-esque, where pies, very comedy right there. The comedy in this movie was amazing. You want to have a good time? I recommend Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I give it 3.5 stars. It's that good. And as always, remember, when you want to make it a movie night, watch those clowns, because you never know where they may be. They may be standing outside your door right now, trying to lure you in. Here's some free movies. You want them? Whoosh, you become cotton candy. Be careful. Check your windows. Look through your doors first before anything happens to you, because you might become cotton candy and then you can't make it a movie night and dive right in.